Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jade and let's talk anime. So I was watching Beastars and actually the seasons recently ended and that anime is pretty darn good. And this anime is probably one of my favorites right now. So this anime was based off the Japanese manga written and illustrated by Paru Itagaki, and the anime was directed by Shinichi Matsumi. It was published by Viz Media and Akita Shoten, and it's under the studio Orange. And also it was licensed by Netflix. So this anime is a slice of life anime, this coming of age kind of anime. And one point I want to make clear is that this anime was not based off of Zootopia. I know that some of you guys out there, and myself included, have said that this anime was like the mature version of Zootopia or the dark version of Zootopia. But it's not. But I will say that Paru Itagaki made it known that the idea of anthropomorphic characters was pretty much influenced from watching Disney films. So this anime is in a modern society where herbivores and carnivores coexist with each other. Kind of. There's some tension there. And the story starts off really heavy, by the way, where Tem the alpaca was chased, killed, and eaten by another animal. Like, that's a brutal way to start this anime series, but it really captivated me to watch it more. And since Tem was killed, this tension that was already between the herbivores and carnivores literally grew, like, grew.
いた演劇部のテムだってエルス同じ部活の子気をつけてねエルス演劇部って灰色狼までいるんでしょ
And what's interesting about this anime is the plot itself has something very familiar, especially when you watch it fully. And it's how there's this tension between the carnivores and herbivores, and how the tension rises after Tem was killed. And pretty much that relationship between the herbivores and the carnivores is something we see here in the real world. Like the relationship between the races, like black and white throughout history. And we also see that kind of relationship between the rich and the poor. Which is one of the reasons why I was so captivated in watching Beastars, is because I found so many similarities in there that I was like, wow, I really connect to that because some of those things that are happening there is happening here. And this anime has three main characters, one being Legosi, who is this gray wolf, and he struggles to keep his carnivore instincts inside. And one of the other problems he has is that he has these feelings for a rabbit named Hodja, who is another one of our main characters. But with Legosi, we see that he's actually very shy. He overthinks a lot. Like when he first met Hodja and they were eating in the cafeteria, he literally was overthinking, trying to figure out how to ask her for her name.
女の子に名前すら聞けない名前ってどうやって聞くんだっけなんで名前が知りたいんだっけ狼がウサギに名前を聞く理由ってなんだ名前ってなんだ
But then we also see from some of the classmates like Els, who was Tem's crush, that she said that he was actually a very kind wolf, or a kind wolf. Which kind of shows that Legosi tries to stay out of trouble, and he's just not that very big, scary carnivore that everyone says carnivores are usually. So the next main character we have is Hodja, who is this dwarf rabbit, and she's bullied a lot in school, and she's known to sleep around in the school. But even though Hodja is a small rabbit, you can tell that she's a very strong character because there was a moment in the anime where the bullies tripped her, and what she did was that she pretty much turned around and started talking back to them. And you can tell how much she just stood up for herself, which proves that she's just not some weak character. And then we have Louie, who is this red deer, and pretty much the student body looks up to him because he has this confidence. He's the main actor in the drama club, and pretty much he was the top choice to become the next Beastar because he knows how to unite the student body because they all look to him. But one thing that everyone doesn't know is that he's actually romantically involved with Hodja, and of course he can't tell that to anybody. And he's made it known that his future with like a wife and all that was already set for him. The cool thing about these characters is that there's so many complex things happening. The first being Legosi, who has the struggles with his carnivore instincts, and the main problem he really has is that he has these feelings for Hodja, but he doesn't know whether they're feelings of love or they're feelings of a predator towards a prey. Because when he first met Haru, he really just tried to attack her and eat her. But the other times that he's met Haru, he's been very gentle, he's been very kind. Like when Haru thought she was gonna sleep with him, and the first thing he did was he covered her with a blanket and then he left. It kind of is very confusing to himself and kind of to us because we don't know what those feelings are either. And then we have Haru, who sleeps around in school, and there are some guys that we see who slept with her. But then we were shown the reason why she does that is because she doesn't want to be viewed as this weak rabbit. She wants to take control of her life, and she pretty much wants to be viewed as just Haru. And then we have Louie, who we see is pretty much this very popular character, and he's very confident in who he is, or so we thought, because we see that he has his own struggles where he has trouble being in his own skin. It seems like he wants to be a carnivore, but he's an herbivore, so which is kind of hard for him because he doesn't want to be viewed as weak. So that's why when he sees someone like Lugosi, he gets very mad at it. And there was a moment where he was with Lugosi, and he pretty much wanted Lugosi to bare his fangs because he just got so mad at the fact that Lugosi was being weak even though he's a strong carnivore. Another cool thing about these characters is the voice acting. Oh my gosh, the voice acting was so good because with Louie, he is this very confident character who's very much a leader. And you can hear that in his voice with how he says everything, like he means everything he says. And then he also has this elegance to it, like, you know, deers are kind of elegant, you know? There was a moment where we saw Louie talking to the press at the school because of what Bill and Lugosi did at the play. And the way that he was talking to them with full belief of what he's saying, even though what he was saying wasn't actually what the situation was, the way that he was saying it really captivated you to believe exactly what he was telling you, which is why he has that voice of a leader. And then we have Haru, who is a small rabbit, and that really reflects on her voice, but the way she talks is very nonchalant and she knows what she wants. And pretty much she kind of has that tone in her voice, which makes you really believe in these characters and really interact with them that way. But one voice that really stood out to me was Lugosi's. Now I think Lugosi is one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character in this show, because of how his voice is throughout the series. In the beginning, he's very timid, he overthinks way too much, and you can hear that anxiety when he's getting into his head. But then there was one episode where he was fighting Bill on stage, and when he was throwing all these punches at Bill, you can hear all the frustration in his yelling and all that anger that he's had from what Bill did. And you kind of felt that and you were like, oh my gosh, like that's some strong emotion that he's portraying. And throughout the series, his tone really does change because he grew as a character, and I really enjoyed watching it and hearing it as well. Now with the art style of Beastars, I personally enjoyed it. I really liked all the fine details that they had on the characters and the overall feel of Beastars, but I know there were some concerns about it where they didn't know it was going to be like the manga, where the manga was very nitty-gritty and very edgy. But I will say there are some moments in like the fight scenes where when they're far away it kind of looks limited, but when the fight scenes are up close where you see every movement, you can tell how much work they put in to make sure it looks believable, and I truly have felt every hit up close. Like it felt painful. Like in the scene where Lugosi was fighting the Shishigumi and his arm was caught in his mouth because he bit it. Like you felt all that struggle and all the punches that he's thrown and all the knee. And every time that he's kneed the guy and every time he's punched him. But overall, up close, the action looks so good. But the far away ones are kind of limited. But overall, what I like about it is that it's not that typical furry art style, not that typical anime furry art style, which is very much appreciated. So overall, I give Beastars a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, and I will applaud the creator of Beastars because I have enjoyed every moment of watching it, and I'm so excited and so happy that there's gonna be a season 2. I just want some more Beastars, but I know I'm gonna have to wait for that. But that is all I have today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below what you guys thought of Beastars if you've watched it. Personally, I don't know how many times I made that known, but I really enjoyed the series. But don't forget to subscribe. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!